Introducing the Open Palm Podcast, hosted by Jerome Shaw. Available today on your favorite podcasting platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor.fm, and many more. The Open Palm Podcast, where the host engages his listeners with inspirational messages, motivating themes, and thought-provoking ideas. Topics include: make more mistakes, how much is your value, don't get right, get going, learning to let go, excellence is a habit, and more. Binge listen today. Subscribe today. It's getting excellent ratings. That's the Open Palm Podcast, hosted by Jerome Shaw. You can also find it on YouTube. Make sure you share it with your social networks and connect on Twitter and Instagram at Jerome Shaw. That's the Open Palm Podcast with Jerome Shaw. Available today on your favorite podcasting platforms. Go listen, download, and subscribe now.
My friend, I got this lesson from Master Sri Akarshana listening at a conference. Have you ever thought about the true power of your subconscious mind? Think about if you have ever been driving. Have you ever driven a car? A vehicle, maybe on the road, on the highway, and in familiar territory? Have you ever driven to and fro from a place, from point A to point B, and in the midst of driving, all of a sudden, you might head down an unfamiliar path, or maybe there's some traffic, or maybe a police car goes by, woo, 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 or an ambulance or a fire truck or something to alert your attention, right? Something happens that is just different, that jolts you out of your reverie, out of your subconscious mind and back into conscious reality. And you say, oh, you just realize that you're driving, right? Oh, I'm driving. But has there ever been moments where maybe 5 or 10 minutes out of the time of your driving experience, you made it to your destination? You drove, you shifted gears, or you pressed the brake, you pressed the gas, you put on the blinker, you switched lanes, you turned, you checked the rearview mirror. You did all of these things mechanically, but you were unaware that you were doing any of these things. And you still made it to your destination, safely and sound. Now, how did that happen? Right? And let me ask you, have you ever had this experience where you were doing all of these things and you died during that experience? Well, of course, the answer is rhetorical, for if you're listening to this, you are still alive, my friend. Yet, on the road, we have a responsibility. A responsibility not for just our own lives, but for the lives of other people. For one wrong turn, one wrong slip, one wrong judgment move on our part can cause harm to another. It can end someone's life. And yet we're not consciously there. We're doing all of these things at a subconscious level. Now, what does that tell you? And one more example. Observe when you're in your conscious mind. When you're doing these things, these mechanical motions, you're trying not to hit the curb, you're trying to park or park parallel or do something. And all of a sudden you say, don't hit the curb, don't hit the curb, don't hit the curb, and boom, you hit the curb, right? Now you were doing this at a conscious level. That you were in your conscious mind and you trusted yourself not to do something and you did it. And what does that tell you? My friend, when we're in our conscious mind, we will never perform as brilliantly, as beautifully, or as elegantly as we do when we are in our subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind can do amazing things. When you are in flow, when you are in that trance-like state, the state of effortlessness, the state of least effort, right? The state of just being. When you are in that flow state, you perform so gracefully. You deserve a standing ovation, and yet you were not consciously there. For when you have done something so much, when you have become so familiar with doing things over and over and over again, it goes from the conscious mind, and somewhere down the line it logs in to the subconscious, and you are able to do these things effortlessly. That's the same thing for everything else, my friend. It's the same for washing dishes. It's the same for sweeping. It's the same for checking emails. Or it's the same for building funnels. It's the same for doing podcast episodes. It's the same for doing YouTube videos, editing, right? I've gotten into flow states while editing. I've gotten into flow states while boxing. I've gotten into flow states while playing video games. If you have done something over and over and over again, enough times, there will be a time when you don't have to think about doing it at all. It becomes second nature. For example, one of my friends used to be deathly afraid of driving. They were so afraid of driving because they didn't believe in themselves. Even though all these other people were driving, the facts were right in front of them. Reality would tell them that so many other people had done this thing. Why shouldn't they be able to do it too? And yet, the responsibility of being on the road, being responsible for their life, and maybe possibly, I might hit someone else. What happens? What happens if I do this? What if I do that? What if? Caused them to fear their own actions that hadn't even happened yet, hadn't even taken place, and put them into inactivity. They didn't even want to drive because they were so afraid of what might happen. But that was their conscious mind. They had not even taken the chance to give themselves a chance to get better at something. Let this be a kind word to you, my friend, of encouragement to let you know that if it works here, it works everywhere. You can get better at something. And if you can get better at something, then you can get even better at that something. Every expert was once a beginner in all aspects. No one came out of the womb into this dimension an expert painter, a brilliant artist, right? A wonderful singer. These things are worked at in the conscious until they become unconscious. You can practice. You can get better and never be discouraged by your own progress or the progress of others that may seem leagues ahead of your own. The subconscious mind is powerful, my friend. Learn how to tap in to what is within, and the world is yours. Thank you for listening, my friend. This has been Jerome Shaw on TOP, the Open Palm Podcast here in Lake Elsinore, California. The open palm means harmony with the world, understanding our place in the world, using our skills accordingly, greeting the world with an open palm instead of a closed fist. I do pray you received a kind word, a wonderful message from this episode, that you would drop it on some beautiful soul that needs some encouragement, needs some enlightenment and empowerment from you today. Pay it forward and share the message so more can hear it. And if you would like to support the podcast and you resonate and gain value, definitely, I invite you to become a supporter by opening your browser to anchor.fm/jshaw. Clicking that little support button there is much appreciated, my friend. Shouts out to all the people who continue to support and donate. Much love to you, my friends. Check out the new book on Amazon. The link will be in the description. Sun Gaze for Success. And have a blessed day or night, wherever you are, my friend. Take care. Hey there, my friend. So you've heard about Anchor, but do you know why it's the easiest way to make a podcast? Well, first off, it's free. It allows you to use creation tools that let you record your podcast right from your phone or computer. It also distributes your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more platforms. You can even make money from your podcast with minimum listenership. It's everything you need in one place. Download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. Can't wait to hear yours. Let's see what you have to offer the world.